Hello, thanks for coming to check out my devlog. In the past few days, I mainly worked on the abilities of the player and refining it to make them more interesting, while also trying to improve the AI to make it more strategic to fight against them, but also making sure they have good synergy with each other. So first off, the abilities. So the first thing I worked on was the wall ability. I felt like before it was quite weak and it didn't have enough power. It would just barely hold off the enemies for like half a second or so. So in the updated version, I made it have a lot more bounce and more power, so you can actually use it to block enemies and um, to block enemies more effectively for long periods of time. And also, if you can notice, I made the wall thinner and a bit closer to the player, so you can actually angle it. So you can actually control where the enemy is going to go based on the angle of the wall, like this. So you can actually control where the enemy is going to go based on the angle of the wall, something like this. It's a bit easier to do that with the thinner wall. I gave the Meteor ability a bit more range since I felt like it was a bit too hard to hit and didn't have enough power. So I gave it bit more range to make it easier to hit. Hopefully, be more useful in the future. I also increased the recharge time of all the abilities from 3 seconds to 6 seconds. Since I didn't want players to just spam the abilities, I wanted you to decide intelligently how you're going to use each ability and not just spam it. As for the UI section, for the UI, I'm sure you've noticed by now I've added the dash arrow, and the dash arrow is mainly there so you can tell when the enemy is about to attack, so you have time to react, and the game is a bit more fair. And with the extra information, you can actually make more intelligent decisions when playing. And that's the same reason why I added the meteor target sprite. So I'll just activate it. Yeah. So see, that lets you know. It does two things. It lets you know where the enemy is about to land and deal damage, but also when it switches from the target sprite to like to here, the semi transparent model, then you'll know when the enemy is about to land and need to get out of there. So you know when you really need to dodge and get out of there. And if you don't, then you just get blasted. So in addition, I've added a sprite for the rockets, or an explosion on the rockets. So I want a design philosophy or like an idea. So I want to make sure that every time something happens, you know why it happened, so you can learn from it and improve your strategy. So when I do a meteor, there should be a crack on the floor, so I know, okay, this happened because of the meteor. Or and when I show a rocket, it should be a little explosion, so I know, oh, that's what happened. That's caused the explosion of the rocket. And then it's nice to have a bit of feedback as well as a player. And most of the rest of my time this week or past 2 weeks has been on the AI, refining the AI, making sure it's fun by itself and like works well with the other AI and with the player's abilities. So the first one, I didn't want to make it too powerful. I wanted it to be like the first enemy you face. It's not too crazy. You can probably beat these guys without too much skill. So in the original incarnation, it was a bit too difficult to beat without using like skill or evasive maneuvers or whatever. So I wanted to make sure that you could beat it just by like slamming into it. Yeah, well, hopefully new players are better than me. So you should be able to beat it without too much skill. But of course, if you use any like evasive maneuvers and a technique, it should be a lot easier. So to do that, I just decreased its weight to make it a bit easier to eliminate. So the second AI really is the point where I want to make sure that you can't just like mindlessly run at the enemies and then win. So this one, if you're not paying attention, you can actually get pushed off and die. So made it a bit more difficult. You can still run away since this one's not too fast. But if you're not paying attention or just like or you don't know what you're doing, you could just lose easily. And so to do that, I just increased its weight a bit, so that each of its attacks have a bit more power to it. But again, still kind of a easy one to beat if you know what you're doing. You can just dodge and then, well, normally you can shoot if it's not okay. So this is what I'm talking about. You can't just mindlessly do it. You have to pay attention. Uh, I guess that works too. Okay, for AI3 or the green man, the sniper, I felt like it spammed rockets a lot and it was pretty difficult to approach, especially in if it was protected by other enemies. It'd be difficult to approach. You have to get through all of them and then go dodge all the rockets and then land like a 3-hit combo to end him. But so it was a bit too difficult and annoying. So what I did was I just decreased the weight a lot, make it so you only need one or two good shots or maybe one combo to end him. So yeah, something like that. While before you would have taken like 4 or 5 hits to do that, maybe 6. Okay, this AI4 is the only AI I didn't really change because it felt pretty good. Like it acted the way it was supposed to act, had the right feel, around about the right power. Everything felt pretty good. Also, I'm calling all of these like AI 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Feel like that's not very imaginative. If you have any good ideas for names or then please put them in the comments because I'm not like a creative type. But yeah, this one felt a bit pretty good. Uh, with the wall upgrade, it's pretty fun to beat these guys because you can just like ricochet, and hopefully I can demonstrate here. Okay, it's a bit too far. Okay, that works. Okay, so for AI5, I decreased the trigger range since I felt like it was it was too easy to dodge even without really trying. Like you could just walk right through it or like almost try to get hit and it would be difficult. Well, this actually adds some pressure, so you have to get out of the way, otherwise you get hit. And the floor crack like UI really helps to it really helps you see the scale of yeah, I got to get out of there. So overall, I just decreased the trigger range, so that's the range at which it would like me finish the meteoring and then like crash down and do all that a big damage there. And also increase the meteor radius itself so that it would actually have a greater like attack radius. So if you're in range, then you get bold. I think maybe I should also increase the damage on this meteor since it looks so threatening, but it doesn't do as much damage as you'd think. Okay, so this is something I'm kind of proud of is the like anti fall off feature. So normally the AI would just run off the edge. Normally the AI would just walk off the edge, but with this hack, it just doesn't fall off. It just switches directions before falling off. And yeah, I think that's about it. That's most of the devlog. Basically, updated the abilities to make them more powerful. Added some UI to make the game a bit more fair and predictable, so you can plan your strategy. And made the AI a bit more fair, a bit more fun, work together more, bit more interesting. Yeah, so yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. See you around.